Good morning, students. This video is for the students of class 9, subject science, chapter number 14, that is natural resources. It's your lecture number 3. So students, topics to be discussed in today's lecture are water pollution and soil. Under soil, we would be discussing soil erosion and so let's start with the first topic, water. That is a wonder liquid. You know that water, it occupies a very large area of the earth's surface and it is also found underground. So what we can conclude? We can conclude that 97.5% of the water on the planet Earth, it is found in seas and oceans as saline water, and it is not available to us for use directly. Okay, 97.5% it is existing as saline water which we cannot use, and remaining 2.5%, see total is 100%, so remaining 2.5% of the total water resources of the world, it consists of fresh water. Okay, 97.5% was saline water and 2.5% is fresh water. So now let us consider this case of 2.5% only. In this 2.5%, 2%, around 2% is found in the ice caps at the poles and on snow covered mountains. Okay, this 2% it is covered in the ice caps, and remaining 0.5% it is available to support terrestrial life. Okay, so this is total 2.5% which I discussed right now. So remaining 0.5% it is available to support the terrestrial life. Now from this 0.5%, just consider this 0.5%, majority 90% of this fresh water it is found underground as groundwater. Okay, 90% of this 0.5% it is existing as groundwater. So we are remained with just 10%. This 10% it occurs as surface water in lakes, ponds, streams and rivers, etc. Okay, so we should conserve each and every drop of water because the water which is available to us is very less. So now the question arises, why is water so necessary? Why? Water is one of the basic necessities of life. Yes, we know that every living organism existing on this planet Earth, it requires water for its survival, right? So why is water necessary for them? Number one, all the cellular processes, it takes place in water medium. Means, whatever the processes are occurring inside or outside the cell, they take place in water medium. So water is necessary. Second point is that substances are transported from one part of the body to the other in dissolved form. Okay, you know that inside our body, various substances are transported from one part to another part, right? So in which form these substances are transported? They are transported in dissolved form. Dissolved form means water. Hence, organisms need to maintain the level of water in their bodies in order to stay alive. So this was the reason why is water so necessary. Now the question arises that why the terrestrial life forms require fresh water? Why? Because the terrestrial life forms, their bodies cannot tolerate or get rid of the high amounts of dissolved salt in saline water. Means the bodies of the terrestrial organisms, they do not have the capability to tolerate the high amounts of the dissolved salt which is present in the saline water, and that is the reason that the terrestrial life forms require fresh water. They do not require saline water, they require fresh water. So the availability of water decides not only the number of individuals of each species that are stable to survive in a particular area, but it also decides the diversity of life there. Of course, the availability of water not only the factor that decides the sustainability of life in a region. There are some other factors like temperature, nature of the soil that matters. So, water is one of the major resources which determine life on the earth. Okay, so we can say that there is a relationship between the amount of available water and the number and variety of the plants and animals that can live in a given area. Okay, so this was about water. So we should save each and every drop of water. Now next topic is water pollution. What is water pollution? It is the addition of undesirable and harmful substances that degrade water quality and making it toxic to humans or the environment. Okay, so in simple words, what we can say, pollution of water. How? How it is taking place? It is due to the addition of undesirable and harmful substances like fertilizers and pesticides. Whenever they are added to water, they are polluting the water. And as a result, the water quality is degraded as well as it becomes toxic to the humans as well as environment. Okay, so this is water pollution. Now the question arises, what are the sources of water pollution? First, fertilizers and pesticides sprayed over the crops, they are washed away into nearby water bodies by rainwater. Okay, you know that farmers, they grow crops in the fields, right? And they use fertilizers and pesticides which are sprayed over those crops. So what happens when the fertilizers and pesticides, they are sprayed over the crops, those fertilizers and pesticides, they are washed away into nearby water bodies like rivers, lakes, canals, etc. through rainwater. So this is contributing to water pollution. So this is the first source of water pollution. Second source, what we can say, dumping of untreated sewage into rivers and lakes. Okay, whenever the untreated sewage is dumped into rivers, lakes, canals, it also leads to water pollution. The sewage which is coming from our towns, cities, the waste, for example, coming from the factories, they are dumped into rivers or lakes. Okay. The third point is that discharge of industrial influence by industries such as paper, sugar mills, petroleum refineries, etc. Okay. There are various industries which are residing nearby, which are involved in manufacturing of paper, sugar mills or petroleum refineries, right? So these industries, what they do, they discharge industrial effluents. Okay, whatever the waste are left by these industries, they are thrown into rivers, lakes, canals, and which is leading to water pollution. So these are the sources of water pollution. So students, now you can see from the diagram that how the water is polluted by the living organisms such as human beings. The human beings, they have thrown various plastic bottles beside the rivers. They have thrown shoes, slippers, waste clothes, etc. which is polluting the water. So what are the effects of water pollution? Basically, there are various effects of water pollution. Let us study one by one. First is disease. In humans, drinking or consuming polluted water in any way has many disastrous effects on our health. it causes disease such as typhoid, cholera, hepatitis. Okay, when you consume polluted water, it affects our health, it causes various diseases. Okay, second point is destruction of ecosystem. So whenever there is a small change, whenever even a small change occurs in the environment, the ecosystem, they are disturbed and it leads to water pollution. So ecosystems are extremely dynamic and respond to even small changes in the environment. Water pollution can cause an entire ecosystem to collapse if left unchecked. So this was about the destruction of ecosystem. Third point is eutrophication. Chemicals in the water body, they encourage the growth of algae. Okay, you know that farmers, they use various chemicals such as fertilizers and pesticides which are being sprayed on the crops. Right. So these chemicals, they encourage the growth of algae. So these algae, they form a layer on the top of the pond or lake. Okay. Now, when they form a layer on the top of any water body, the bacteria feed on them, and as a result, the amount of oxygen is decreased in the water body, which affects the aquatic life there. Okay. So it leads to eutrophication. Next is affects the food chain. No doubt, water pollution also affects the food chain. Disruption in the food chain happens when toxins and pollutants in the water, they are consumed by aquatic animals which are then consumed by humans. Okay, you know that humans are being involved to pollute the water, right? So they are polluting the water by the introduction of the various toxins and pollutants in the water bodies, right? So what happens? The food chain gets disrupted. How? Because those aquatic animals which are living in that water means the water which is polluted. So those aquatic animals, through the food chain, it is consumed by humans, right? So the food chain is also affected through water pollution. So there are various effects of water pollution. I have listed 4 of them. So you can see from a diagram that there is an aquatic animal whose face has been covered by a polythene bag. You know why this happened? Because the human beings, they used to throw the polythene bags in the rivers, canals, lakes, etc. So the aquatic animals which were residing in those lakes, canals, rivers, etc., they got trapped. This animal's face got trapped in one of the polythene, right? So it may result into death of this animal. So that's why I said that water pollution, it does not have effect on human beings. It has effects on animals, aquatic organisms as well. So our next question arises, what would happen if there is change in temperature of the water bodies? For example, if we change or increase or decrease the temperature of the lakes, what would happen? So the answer is, if there is change in temperature of the water, it will adversely affect the aquatic organisms. Okay, the life of the aquatic organisms will be affected. How? Because the aquatic organisms are used to a certain range of temperature in the water body where they live. Okay, they are surviving in a certain limit of the temperature, and a sudden marked change in this temperature, if there is sudden increase or decrease in this temperature, it would be dangerous for them to survive or affect their breeding. Okay, their breeding process will be affected. The eggs and the larvae of the various animals are particularly susceptible to temperature changes. Okay, if there is change in temperature, the eggs and the larvae, they will be affected a lot. Okay, so this was the answer about the question that what would happen if there is change in the temperature of the water bodies. It will adversely affect the life of the aquatic organisms. So let's start with the next topic. Our next topic is soil. What is soil? Soil is a mixture of small particles of different sizes, decayed living organisms, and various types of microscopic plants and animals. Okay, soil is basically a mixture where the particles are of different size. Okay, their size varies. It consists also of decayed living organisms, that is called as humus, and various microscopic plants and animals, they are also present in the soil. So this is a soil. Now next question arises, how is soil formed? Soil is basically formed by a very slow process that is called as weathering of rocks. Weathering means breakdown of rocks into smaller and smaller pieces, which will result in the formation of soil. So the soil is formed by which process? Weathering of rocks. So students, our next question arises, what are the factors that affect soil? There are various factors which affect soil like sun, water and wind. First is sun. Cracks that are formed due to expansion and contraction of the rocks during day and night respectively ultimately breaks up the rocks into smaller pieces. Means what happens during the day, the sun, it is heating up the rock, so the rocks expand, and during the night the rocks cool down and they contract. Okay, so expansion is taking place during the day and contraction is taking place during the night. So as a result of expansion and contraction of the rocks, these rocks, they break into pieces. The cracks appear in the rocks and they break into smaller pieces, which result in the formation of soil. So this was about the first factor, that is sun. Now second factor is water. Water, it also helps in the formation of soil. How? Rainwater, it enters the cracks and it gets solidified into ice during the winters, which generates pressure inside the rocks, ultimately breaking them apart. And flowing water rubs against the rocks and wears them down. Okay, see the cracks have been formed in the rocks. Okay, so what happens whenever the rain occurs, some of the rainwater, it sweeps into the cracks of the rocks, and during the winter it gets solidified into ice. Means that water, it freezes into ice. This freezing, it generates pressure inside the rocks, and after generation of the pressure they break the rocks. Okay, the rocks are broken down into smaller pieces, which results in the formation of soil. And flowing water rubs against rocks means whenever the rain occurs, it carries also some big and small particles. Okay, that fast flowing water carrying big and small particles of the rock, they rub against the rocks, so resultant abrasion, the resultant pressure, it wears them down. Okay, means the rocks are broken down into smaller and smaller particles, that is soil. So this is how the water affects the soil. Third is wind. Strong winds, they also erode rocks down. Okay, the same process, similar, in which the water will rub against the rocks and the rocks, they are broken down into smaller and smaller pieces through the wind. So these are the factors that affect soil. Now students, there are two more terms you should know. What is humus and what is topsoil? Humus. Right now we discuss what is soil. Right. Soil is a mixture that contains small particles of rock, and it also contains bits of decayed living organisms. Okay. So this dead and decayed living organism present in soil, it is called as humus. Okay. What is humus? The dead and decayed living organism which is present in soil, that is called as humus. Now this humus is a major factor in deciding the structure of soil. Why? Because it causes the soil to become more porous and it allows water and air to penetrate deep underground. Right? So that's why humus is considered a major factor in deciding the soil structure. Next term is topsoil. What is topsoil? The topmost layer of the soil that contains humus and living organism in addition to the soil particle. It is called as topsoil. Okay, it is the topmost layer and what it contains? It contains humus and living organisms in addition to the soil particles. So this is topsoil. Now next topic is what is soil erosion? The removal of this topsoil by air, water and wind is called as soil erosion. Okay, the topmost layer of the soil, it is removed by the action of air, water and wind. So this process is called as soil erosion. Right? And this soil erosion, it normally occurs in bare areas. Bare areas means the areas without plant cover. Okay, where there is no plant cover. Okay, now the question arises why? Why this soil erosion occurs in bare areas? Because the bare topsoil is loose and it can be easily carried away by strong winds or fast moving water of heavy rains or rivers. Okay, in bare areas, the topsoil, the topmost layer of the soil, it is very loose in nature. And if it is loose, it can obviously easily be carried away by the strong winds, by fast moving water of heavy rains or rivers. Okay, so this is the reason why soil erosion occurs normally in bare areas. So, what are the methods to prevent this soil erosion? Okay, what are the preventive methods? So, different methods are there for preventing or reducing soil erosion, such as terrace farming, counter farming, intensive cropping, crop rotation, checking overgrazing by the cattle, avoiding deforestation, proper drainage canals around the fields. Okay, so various methods they can be used to reduce the soil erosion. So you can see from the diagram also various methods for reducing soil erosion, terrace farming, okay, counter farming. It is being done by the farmers, by the people in order to reduce the soil erosion. It is accelerated in hilly or mountain regions basically. So our next topic is what is soil pollution. We discussed air pollution, water pollution. Next is soil pollution. What is soil pollution? Removal of useful components from the soil and addition of other substances which adversely affect the fertility of the soil and kill the diversity of the organisms that live in it. It is called as soil pollution. Means the useful components are being removed from the soil or various other substances are added to the soil which is decreasing the fertility of the soil or killing the diversity of the organisms that live in the soil. So this is soil pollution. So what are the sources of soil pollution? The main sources of soil pollution are: number one, modern farming practices that involve the use of large amount of fertilizers and pesticides. Okay, you know that farmers they use large amount of chemicals like fertilizers and pesticides, okay, which are sprayed over the crops to increase the crop yield. Okay, so these chemicals which are being used by the farmers, they are leading to soil pollution. Okay, so this is the first source of soil pollution. Second source of soil pollution is the chemicals which are released from the industries. They are being dumped into vacant sites along the roads. Okay, various industries they are using various chemicals for the manufacturing of paper and many other things. Okay, so these chemicals anyhow they are being released from the industries into the rivers. Okay, into the soil also. So it is polluting the soil. So that is leading to soil pollution as well. Third source is solid waste generated from the residences and public places make the surroundings dirty and pollute the soil. So various waste which are being generated from residences and the public places, they are polluting the soil, which is leading to soil pollution. So basically we can say there are various sources of soil pollution. I have listed some of the sources. So students, what is your homework for today's lecture? We will have to answer the following questions. Question number 1 is, why do organisms need water? 2 is, what is a major source of fresh water in the city, town or village where you live? Question number 3 is, do you know any activity which may be polluting this water source? Question number 4 is, why is water essential for life? Question number 5 is, how is soil formed? 6th is, what is soil erosion? 7th question is, what are the methods of preventing or reducing soil erosion? And the last question, question number 8 is, how are living organisms dependent on the soil? Are organisms that live in water totally independent of soil as a resource? So these are the following 8 questions you have to do in your fair notebook today. So students, now I would be discussing the homework solutions of lecture number 2. Question number first was, what causes winds? Answer, the movement of air from the region of high air pressure to the region of low air pressure causes wind. Question number 2 was, how are clouds formed? Answer, during daytime, a large amount of water evaporates from water bodies by the heat of sun. The hot air carrying the water vapor rises up, expands and cools down after reaching a certain height. It then gets condensed as tiny water droplets. These water droplets aggregate, leading to the formation of clouds. So this was the answer of your second question. Third question was, list any 3 human activities that you think would lead to air pollution. Answer, following human activities are responsible for producing air pollution. Burning of fossil fuels like coal and petroleum, dust from coal mines and fly ash from thermal power plants, smoke from vehicles, forest fires. So there are various human activities. You can list any 3 which is leading to air pollution. So thank you class.